Hello, scumbags, and welcome to Vote of No Confidence. Guess what we do on this show? Take a wild guess. Tell them.
I have no idea. Why am I here? Oh. No, this is Vote of No Confidence, so it is where we fight for sides that have been assigned to from Brock and James, and you guys are basically the Senate. We are senators. We're arguing our topics to you, and you guys make the decision. Who's right? Was he right? Was I right? Or was I right? Excuse me. I had a brain fart there. Regardless,
this is the man you want to vote for, people?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I'm on my ball today. So this is the one. And what is our topic for today?
Today's topic, I really like this topic, and it hit me out of left field, and I love it. It is, who is better, K-2SO or C-3PO human cyborg relations?
Those two guys on a shirt right there.
Shirt. There they are. Wow, this is hard. Orienting my fingers is hard. There they are.
Yeah, who's better?
Yeah.
So I got K-2SO. Who did you get, Andrew?
I got the other one who's not K2. What's his name again?
Oh, yeah. C-3PO. Oh, yeah, that's the one.
No, I got everybody's favorite Golden Protocol Butler.
Yeah.
The greatest character ever made.
Do you got the one with the red arm or without the red arm?
I went with like pure gold.
Oh, okay, pure gold. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So I think it is K-2SO that is the better character, because really, in a lot of ways, K-2SO is C-3PO, but if C-3PO was even more awesome than he was in those movies, because the thing with they have a lot of similar like character traits. They got a lot of similar quirks that they do in terms of their comedic style in a lot of ways as droids, which is kind of funny to say as there's comedic style for droids, but I guess that's the world we're in Star Wars nowadays. But regardless, they have very similarities, but at the same time, he's awesome. He's a fighter. He does awesome things that C-3PO could never do. So I think to start off, that's just a big thing that K-2SO has that C-3PO is kind of lacking, because I know he's kind of like the bumbling one. You know, he gets shot once, he blows to pieces and whatnot, and like Empire Strikes Back. Mm-hmm. So I think he's got a cool factor that really C-3PO does not have.
Yeah, the coolness is an issue, but to your point about comedy, C-3PO, I'm gonna put this up. This is honest. He made me laugh way more than K-2SO ever did. K-2SO was a funny guy, but there was a lot of times where I felt that it was coming across very forced. It was coming across very like, I'm the Alan Tudyk droid, so I must bring the laughs as much as possible. Whereas with 3PO, it felt much more organic, and it wasn't him trying hard at all. It was just him being him and feeding off of what the other characters were doing to him. I still would posit that the funniest Star Wars movie until Force Awakens came along was The Empire Strikes Back. And it's because like 95% of that is due to C-3PO and just his interactions.
Him and Han Solo.
Him and Han, him and Chewie, him and Leia. Remember, he spends like a good 90 to 95% of that movie separated from R2. So this isn't the sort of case where it's like, oh, he's nothing without R2. No, he proved in this movie he can be a whole lot of something without, he doesn't even need his more popular companion standing right next to him to make him cool. 3PO, what was so great about that was 3PO is the kind of character who would be more comfortable in the presence of Luke Skywalker, because Luke Skywalker treats him with respect and everything like that. But the minute he gets sent away with the others, that's where this comic gold comes from. I mean, so many lines in there. Just the
pun intended. Comic gold.
Yeah, there we go. Obviously, you know, his comedy doesn't always work well either. As much as I love the Coliseum in Attack of the Clones, every time 3PO opened his mouth in that scene, it was like, God, make this stop.
He was completely unwatchable.
This is such a drag, Rob. This is such a drag. I understand where you're
coming from. That might have been what 3PO would have been like if he could actually shoot blasters. He might have been that character right there.
Jedi dogs.
What did I just say?
But he, like that's such a minute negative to all the positives he gave us in the originals, and in 1 and 3 I thought he was fine too. Like he never. A lot of people say 3PO is annoying. I was never ever annoyed by that man, except in that Coliseum thing with those puns.
Well, I mean, the thing about C-3PO, of course, that he has the gift of being a character that's been around for 40 years. So we already know what he is like and what his cultural relevance is. But K-2SO, the thing about K-2SO is immediately after that movie came out, I saw several articles that are like, is K-2SO the best droid ever and whatnot.
Wow.
Like several ones like that. I was like Screen Junkies videos and stuff like that, asking that question basically as to whether he is the best droid ever, because he's just a perfect amalgamation between all those ones. The thing is, yeah, C-3PO is kind of like he shows his worth as himself in Empire Strikes Back. In A New Hope, he was kind of just like snooty and cowardly and whatnot. But meanwhile, K-2SO has some of those factors, and he's proved that he could be paired with a lot of different people, and he could be hilarious, right? Like, most of the time he's going back and forth with Jyn Erso in these movies. But at the same time, he's got a whole bunch of those moments where he's the awkward droid. He's got so many fun and awkward moments. I mean, I never really had those moments where I was like, I don't know, that joke didn't really land that much. K-2SO, just at the end of the day at that movie, he was my favorite character in the entire movie. I could never say that with C-3PO, unfortunately. He was not my favorite character in any one of the movies, even though he has been great. He's a really good droid. But I think just K-2SO has that extra leg up. It's just like he has that advantage of people like leaving a movie and being like, wow, K-2SO is amazing, right? Even like the haters that I was like, some of the people at Screen Junkies, I believe, it's like they don't like that movie, but the Rogue One, but they're like, K-2SO is hilarious. He's awesome.
Screen Junkies didn't like Rogue One?
Not all of them. I think it was Andy Signor wasn't a fan of it, and so was Joe Starr was not a fan of it either. But at the end of the day, both those people acknowledged that K-2SO was hilarious. He was the standout character for that movie. And I think that's what he really has going for him, is just that, hey, he's the character that a lot of people think about from Rogue One. I'm not so sure C-3PO has that going for him.
No, the only difference is that 3PO gets outshined by so many amazing characters, whereas the Rogue One roster was a lot smaller. To be honest, I think K-2SO might be my second least favorite of the Rogue One crew. I mean, like, I just love
the main six.
Yeah, I just love Bodhi Rook so much. Even Krennic, I loved Krennic a lot too. But in terms of just,
but you still like him more than the Slug, right? Sakura Slug. Okay,
Bulgullet.
All right, good.
Bulgullet didn't read shit. To your point about just like how he sort of you're saying K-2SO sort of stole the show in a way, and people are walking away from Rogue One regardless of their opinion that they love K-2SO. I feel like C-3PO is that, but not for a specific movie. He's that for the whole Star Wars saga. And what I mean by that is he has reached such a stature of, like, he's so iconic that he could almost turn and break the fourth wall in a sense, and speak to us as fans. And it would, like, at Celebration, you and I were both at Celebration, if Mark Hamill had come out on stage but dressed as Luke and speaking to us as if he was Luke, we'd be like, this is weird, I feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But if Anthony Daniels had come on stage in the suit and spoke to us as C-3PO, it would be, first of all, amazing, and second of all, it would not feel out of place, because C-3PO is, Star Wars has no narrator. Like, nobody's reading the opening crawl for us when it goes up. We just have to read it ourselves. But if it did, it would be C-3PO. He's got that sort of mentality to him where he can draw you in and say, like, would you like to hear about what happened to me and my friends? It was quite harrowing.
He did tell that story in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Even in one of the, I think the Jason Fry book a couple years ago, the Journey to Force Awakens about Luke, that whole book was 3PO telling Jessica Pava a story about what Luke did back in the day. So he's such a great ambassador for Star Wars, both in canon and out of canon. I think he's reached a point now where you just see his face and you think Star Wars. And there are no.
He's certainly a more marketable character.
Absolutely, yeah. I would argue that he is the Mickey Mouse of Star Wars, more than Vader, more than
Really?
R2. Like he is just like, you look at him and it's just like, that's Star Wars. That's it right there. And he, to your point about K-2SO, he was, he had the charm and the awkwardness to him, but I feel like I've seen at least 5 other robots who are like K-2SO. I mean, HK-47 was a little bit like him from Knights of the Old Republic. Marvin the Paranoid Android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a little bit like K-2SO. No robot I've ever seen is like C-3PO. And that's just a testament to how awesome, imagine how funny, we never really got to experience this back in the day, but how funny it was to walk into a movie theater in 1977 and see a robot who is terrified of everything that's happening around him, who's not just like, I am a robot, because that was back then, coming off the 50s B movies, that's what they were. They were just like, destroy.
Yeah, the Doctor Who.
Yeah, oh my God.
Exterminate.
Don't get me started on Daleks. If there's a hell, it's just constantly a PA system playing Dalek dialogue over there. But C-3PO, along comes this golden droid. First of all, gold, which looks awesome. And then here's this man who's just like mechanical, and he is absolutely spellbinding to watch and to listen to, because he's reacting to things as if he was a person. He's, the ship gets hit and he's like, oh, what doing? He's worrying. That is so unique for a character like this. And there are dozens of robots who are badasses and who don't quite understand how to talk to humans. And we got that with K-2SO, and it was good for what it was. But there's only one C-3PO. There can be only one.
Well, yeah, it's just a thing that, like I said, C-3PO was created 40 years ago, right? Of course, he's going to be a pioneer for what a lot of robots should be. But even if we were saying that, I would say that maybe R2-D2 was more of a pioneer than C-3PO was at that time, because he proved that he could be a robot that could have a lot of character without speaking actual dialogue, right? And my thing is with C-3PO was that just because he came out first and because he was that pioneer does not make him the best droid, in my opinion. You got to just take the characters on their own and then put them up side by side, right? Clash them together and see who is the better one. So I continue to say that, just the fact that K-2SO could, just take the ball and run with it in that way, right? Unfortunately, we won't be able to really see more of K-2SO because of course, his untimely end in Rogue One, right? We could see previous incarnations of him before that. That's why I still maintain that it would be amazing if suddenly it's like, hey, guess who's showing up in Rebels Season 4? Both K-2SO and Cassian Andor. That would be amazing if they just showed up randomly. That would get me so incredibly hyped, just that we could get those two together who are
I don't see that being too far-fetched. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
I would be incredibly. I was even somewhat. We were in the panel together for Rebel Season 4, and I was kind of expecting when they were announcing all the names and the people that are going to be showing up in this season. I was really, really hoping they'd just hear that. It's like, hey, Alan Tudyk and Diego Luna are showing up on the show. That would be amazing. Just letting their voices, just for one episode. That's all I want. Just one episode, because Rebels is ending after Season 4, and this is the perfect time for them to show up, because they're in the perfect timeline. Who knows how long K-2SO was reprogrammed for, right?
Right.
How long he was with Cassian Andor, but they had a camaraderie with each other, so I think it was some time probably greater than a year at least.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that's what's so great. I mean, You mentioned how C-3PO and Han Solo were so good together in Empire Strikes Back. We didn't get that option to really get their back and forthness as much, Cassian Andor and K-2SO. So I think getting that even more, that would really get people's blood flowing and really wanting to see more K-2SO, because the thing that K-2SO has a disadvantage of is that he only has the one movie. But I still think that movie is such a scene-stealing performance that he is better than K-2SO. Sorry, C-3PO. No, I don't know. I'm fighting K-2SO versus K-2SO right now.
That's a Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you got two friends. Hey, I want to play a Scorpion. You want to play a Scorpion?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, I will close this off by telling you all a story. Much like
I love
C-3PO
stories.
himself. I can't make sound effects, so forgive me. But this is something that might make me a little unpopular for a minute, but it's worth it. The first time, when I was 7 years old, the very first time I watched the original Star Wars trilogy, just for that first time, mind you, I was not the biggest fan of Mr. Han Solo.
Okay.
And the reason why was because he gave 3PO a hard time, and C-3PO was one of my favorite characters.
Okay.
Obviously we all know now my favorite character is Chief Palpatine, but if I could only pick one Star Wars character to sit down and have a conversation with, it would probably, it's not going to be Palpatine, because that mofo scares the hell out of me. I don't know what he would try, but it would probably be C-3PO, because there's so much, the minute he starts speaking, he's fascinating. He draws you, like no other Star Wars character, I feel, maybe Vader, but no other Star Wars character has that ability where as soon as they start speaking, all eyes are on them. And even though 3PO comes from a much lighter place, he's not there doing combat. He's support for the other rebels, and he's never gonna pick up a gun and be like, "Hey, say cheese."
Although that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like, hey, you change C-3PO's voice, and suddenly it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god,
That's how you kill Star Wars.
that's how you kill a lot of stormtroopers too.
Yeah.
So he reached me as a kid. I empathized with him. I was like, wow, Han Solo's being a bully right now. I don't like that. I like this robot. Stop being mean to him. And what I love about, I haven't actually read all of them yet, but what I love about the new Poe Dameron comics, as far as Brock has been telling me, is that Poe Dameron, who is a hotshot, ace, cocky pilot just like Han, he treats C-3PO with respect because he understands how important C-3PO is to the New Republic, to the Rebel Alliance, to everything in this galaxy. That this robot, he was like the Alexander Hamilton of this revolution. He was just there the whole time. He was standing by the side of these monumental leaders, and his brain figured out ways to make the New Republic work. His brain figured out ways to stop the Empire. He was there for that. He was quintessential to the plot. And I feel like without him, I mean, obviously, R2 helps a lot too.
Yeah,
I can't, we can't cover that up. R2 is detrimental to everybody's survival. But C-3PO he's the person, in the world of Star Wars, unless you're Luke or Anakin, when you look at R2, you just see like a rolling trash can because droids are everywhere. But even in that mindset where everybody's like, droids are everywhere, who cares? People look at C-3PO in that world, people like Poe, and they realize this metal guy is the reason I'm alive today.
Okay, so there you go. Those are our sides to this argument. K-2SO versus C-3PO. Who's your favorite droid? Don't say R2-D2 because he's not a part of this fight. So just reply K-2SO or C-3PO below and tell us who you think.
Why is it so hard to point when I'm... Wow, this guy.
Yeah, or this guy right here. He's the tallest one.
See, I didn't even notice him because his drab colors mixed with like the background of the shirt. So...
And tune in next time as we're going to talk more about shirts. We're going to be, talking about them like exactly like that.
Shirt talk.
No, yeah, shirt talk. That's what's going to take over for Vote No Confidence. But tune in next week because we have another doozy for you.
See you next time.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.